Tonic would rise out of the ashes of grunge music, which was mostly on its way out by the time the group showed up on most people's radar by the mid-90s. Tonic's 1996 debut album Lemon Parade would be a career high for the band, going platinum and producing several big singles, including If You Could Only See. But whatever happened to the band? That's what we're going to explore in today's video. Made up of members including vocalist and guitarist Emerson Hart, lead guitarist Jeff Russo, bassist Dan Lavery, and drummer Kevin Shepard, Tonic fought against critics their whole career, who levied two charges against them. One was that they were too influenced by 70s rock, and the second was that since they had formed in Los Angeles, they were image conscious. The band would answer these charges with guitarist Jeff Russo telling the LA Times, "We just focus on writing the best possible songs and then go on stage and give as much of ourselves to the audience as we can. We don't think in terms of alternative rock or guitar rock or how many CDs we can sell. We have to be ourselves, and so far enough people seem to like who we are, or at least what we play. It's too bad that some bands have to get arrested or look like Marilyn Manson to attract attention. That's just not us." The band's origins dated back to New Jersey, where Russo and Hart first met while attending the same high school, Red Bank Catholic High. Emerson Hart's mother worked for a local television station, while his father was a pretty talented singer who suffered from schizophrenia and vanished mysteriously in 1980. Hart suspects his father was possibly murdered, a subject he would discuss on one of his solo albums years later. Both musicians would head out west to Los Angeles at separate times, and would run into each other years later in 1991 at Cantor's Deli. The establishment would hold jam nights, where bands like the Wallflowers and Guns N' Roses guitarist Slash would be seen from time to time. The pair soon started jamming together and writing songs, which got the attention of EMI Music, who signed the pair to a publishing deal. Soon afterwards, they added bassist Dan Rothschild and drummer Kevin Shepard. Tonic would be born by 1993. According to MTV, Hart named the group Tonic after the first note of any major or minor scale in musical theory. Tonic would soon become regulars for almost half a year at the LA club The Mint, where they got the attention of Polydor Records, who signed them on Halloween in 1994 backstage at the club. It was during this time the members were working day jobs to support their music, with Russo working as a chef at a restaurant, while Hart was a manager at a pool hall and worked for Fender building guitars, while Rothschild worked as a structural engineer. They all hated their day jobs, so getting signed was a godsend to them. The band would soon enlist producer Joseph Puig, who previously worked with Weezer and No Doubt, to work on their debut album. Puig would get the chance to see the band perform their material they had written in a live setting during one of their regular shows at the Mint. From that point on, as Hart remembers, Puig helped them hone in on their distortion-heavy sound that they were going to capture on their debut album. While Tonic wrapped up recording of Lemon Parade in 1995, their label let it sit for almost a year. Polydor told the group to go out on the road in order to hone their live chops, with Hart telling Diffuser, "We were on the road for almost a year before a record came out. The label was like, get in a van, go do crappy gigs for a year and become good artists," because labels used to do that. So by the time Open Up Your Eyes was released, that went to the radio in 1996, and that was our first #1 at rock radio. We were already in shape. Lemon Parade was by no means an instant seller, but rather a slow burn. According to the VP of marketing at Polydor, he would tell Billboard magazine, "Sales always stuck between 1,500 to 2,400 pieces week in, week out. There weren't any markets we could acknowledge as breakouts, and though we were pumping money into markets such as St. Louis, Minneapolis, and LA, we didn't see any results." The first two singles released from Lemon Parade would be Open Up Your Eyes and Casual Affair, both of which peaked at #2 and #8 on the mainstream rock tracks chart. Now, for your guys' reference, the mainstream rock tracks chart looks at the most played songs on rock stations that play both new rock music in addition to classic rock songs. The turning point for Lemon Parade, though, wouldn't be until the group's third single from the album, If You Could Only See. According to Billboard, the single broke through on modern rock radio, and the VP of marketing at Polydor would tell Billboard, "We've been supporting the album in marketplaces with various tools and priced the album aggressively at $10.98, but it took off with this track getting spins in modern rock radio. There was a huge reaction and sales started to jump," they'd say. Tonic also found success because they were filling a void in rock and roll with their guitar-driven music, with one radio station in Texas, KFRQ, telling Billboard, "Being a somewhat conservative rock station, we like to give our listeners new music, but there just are not as many artists with this sort of guitar-driven sound," they'd say. Now, apart from pushing singles at rock and top 40 radio, MTV and Box USA started heavily playing If You Could Only See, and the label started pushing the band's music in touring markets putting up flyers, as well as hiring local marketing agencies to hand out sampler cassette tapes to high schoolers. Apart from the label, who put a lot of money behind the band's first release, the internet, which was still in its infancy, also proved to be a useful tool for Tonic in promoting Lemon Parade. Through the band's website, they offered fans the latest news in addition to an exclusive recording, and personally responded to email messages. At the end of the day, Lemon Parade would sell over 1.3 million copies in the States, and If You Could Only See topped the mainstream rock tracks chart and peaked at number 11 on the top 40 charts. Lemon Parade's success was surprising given another obstacle the band faced. Around the time of the album's release, their label Polydor was absorbed by Universal Records, with Hart telling the Morning Call newspaper, "We went through 5 product managers and many different radio promotion people. It's amazing that we sold as many records as we did. Now that we're on Universal, it's such a different world." By late 1996 and 1997, Tonic underwent several lineup changes, with Dan Lavery replacing Rothschild on bass in December of '96, and drummer Kevin Shepherd quitting the band due to personal and family reasons. The band also found time to contribute several songs to multiple movie soundtracks, including Scream 2 and the X-Files movie. In addition to that, in early 1999, the band issued a 4-song EP exclusively through their website. When it came time to recording the band's full-length follow-up, Tonic ran into some trouble. Frontman Emerson Hart suffered from writer's block that lasted almost half a year, but it would be God who changed his outlook with him telling MTV, "I was sitting in my den in Los Angeles and I was looking around and I looked up at the sky and said, 'Why do you have to be so mean to me? Ask and you shall receive, man,' he would say." The band wanted to work with Puig once again, but he was unavailable, so Tonic would self-produce their second LP titled Sugar. Ahead of the album's release, fans got a sneak peek of what the band had been working on when they appeared on the American Pie soundtrack with the song You Wanted More. The track would peak at number 3 on the Billboard Modern Rock Tracks chart and appeared on Sugar. Emerson Hart would tell Billboard ahead of the album's release, "The record has got a lot more southern influences. We toured a lot down there and they were good to us. We identify with that culture. It is also heavier guitar-wise, plus the humidity down there does wonders for my voice. We look at the record as an eclectic puzzle." Sugar would also represent the first album that was truly a collaborative effort between all members of the band. But unfortunately, Sugar would only sell a fraction of the group's debut album, moving about 200,000 copies. But despite those poor sales, the band still put on a brave face, with Lavery telling MTV, "The best you can do is love your own record. That way, if your fans don't like it, you know at least you do." The band's follow-up record would see the group team up with Metallica producer Bob Rock, and released in 2003, the group's third album, titled Head On Straight, sold even worse, only moving about 30,000 copies and not garnering much radio play. But in a surprising twist of events, the album received 2 Grammy nominations, and MTV even published an article questioning whether the Grammys were out of touch with popular music, with the network even interviewing Russo, who was surprised by the nominations, telling MTV, "As a matter of fact, when we were told, all of us thought it was a joke. We did not expect them at all." By 2004, the band went on hiatus while members worked on other musical projects. Tonic would return in 2008 and put out 2 more subsequent records, including their self-titled record in 2010 and their most recent album, 2016's Lemon Parade Revisited. The album would celebrate the 20th anniversary of their debut album, with the band re-recording all the tracks as acoustical numbers. During the last year, the band has revealed to fans they have been recording new music, and most recently released a new non-album single in To Be Loved in February of 2021. It would be accompanied by the group's first music video in almost 2 decades, and the members themselves have also found success outside of the band, with Russo becoming a music composer for both television and movies, and even won an Emmy in 2017 for outstanding music composition for a limited series, movie, or special for his work on the program Fargo. Hart, meanwhile, would most recently release a solo album in 2019. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again on Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.